Hi everyone, Mac here. We had a lot of G.I. Joe info pop up this past week, arguably more than what we had in all of Yojo June, so I just wanted to take a few minutes and go over a few things. First thing is that Target opened up orders for the classified Cobra Island exclusives again, and surprisingly, people haven't had as hard of a time getting them ordered as they had in the past. Now, in the Yojo June live stream, they had mentioned that Hasbro that is, we're working with Target to make sure that collectors could get these in their hands, that there wouldn't be as big of an issue, that it wouldn't be as easy for them to sell out as quickly as they did. And I'll admit, I didn't believe them, but it looks like things have changed. In fact, as of the time of this recording, Firefly, Barbecue, and the Target variant of Roadblock are still up for sale on Target. You can still pick those up. So, Firefly, everybody, get your hands on him. And it's just been so much easier to get these things now. The only one that I don't have now is Beachhead. And that's on me because I sort of dragged my feet on getting him. I didn't grab him when I should have, so I missed out on Beachhead. But now, if I wanted the figure, I have the figure either in hand, on pre order, or on its way, including Baroness, which was the one that was a real thorn in my side that I wasn't able to get her. But Baroness is on her way as well. In addition to that, Target also has all of the Snake Eyes Origins 6-inch figures up for pre sale, but on the Target site, it states those figures have a ship and release date of August 1st of this year, August 1st of 2021. And if you remember when Hasbro Pulse first put them up, they said they weren't coming out until February 2022, February of next year. Well, now on the Hasbro Pulse website, they have a ship date of December 1st of this year for those figures, but Big Bad Toy Store still says February 2022. So who knows what's really going on with that? I'd be more inclined to believe the Hasbro Pulse release date more than anything, although everybody definitely keep your eyes open in the aisles at Target coming August 1st. Maybe they'll have them up. Who knows? Now, taking us back around to the Hasbro Pulse website, we also have a tease of the Pulsecon 2021 exclusive, a Master of Disguise Zartan figure. And if you watched my review of the standard release of Zartan, then you know how much I love this guy. So it's no surprise that I'm really digging this variant of this figure. His armor is painted like his Marvel comic book appearance. It's more silver than brown. In addition, there are a lot of comic accurate accessories you get with him, like his bow, a sniper rifle, quiver of arrows. The bow and the quiver, admittedly, are just repaints of Storm Shadows. And he has various masks that harken to his real American hero backstory. I'm not going to get into it too much now. We'll save that for the review once I get my hands on it. But something else this figure does that harkens back to his vintage action figure is he changes color, and that's cool. The vintage figure changed color whenever it was left out in sunlight. According to the Hasbro Pulse website, this one will change color to extreme temperatures, like if you put them in the freezer or if you run them under warm water. We're looking at a $37 price tag, and it will be up for sale sometime this fall. I don't think we have an actual release date for it yet, but it will be released for Pulsecon, and we don't have a release date of Pulsecon yet. But also, I'm willing to bet that this is going to be like the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Snake Eyes and the Serpent Supreme Cobra Commander, that Master of Disguise Zartan will go up for sale first for Pulse Premium, or is it Pulse Plus? I can't remember. Pulse Premium subscribers. They'll have a 1 day window to order, and then after that first day, whatever is left over will be up for grabs for the rest of us. And finally, we have the big reveal of the Super7 line of figures that were put up for pre-order this past Thursday. G.I. Joe Reaction line, as well as their 7-inch Ultimates line. Now, I've never been a fan of reaction figures. It's just not my thing, but I know there are a lot of people out there that get into them, and I get why they're into them. With the G.I. Joe reaction figures, we get a pretty good mix of figures with Snake Eyes, Cobra Commander, 3 versions of the G.I. Joe Grunts, or Green Shirts as they're calling them, and 6 versions of the Cobra Infantry Trooper, all in their Sunbow cartoon incarnation. However, we also get Scarlet, Baroness, and Destro in their Marvel comic incarnation, Baroness in her first incarnation before she went to the all-black bodysuit. Now, granted, Scarlet and Destro's early comic versions greatly resemble their vintage figure, but I thought it was worth noting that there's a mix of versions in the reaction line. But on top of that, there's also this, a reaction figure of Quinn. Jesse Quinn was a mercenary and a tracker from Alaska that appeared in issue 2 of Marvel's Real American Hero comic. He has a short but solid story arc in the series and had some interesting relationship with Snake Eyes. He was never a real standout character in the series. He wasn't in it for very long. He was actually killed off, and it's interesting to me that they chose this character to make a figure of. It's also interesting to me that they have such a mix of cartoon and comic variations of figures in their one reaction line. And that's because, and that brings us around to the big news, their Ultimates line is based solely on the Sunbow cartoon series. We have a pretty solid first wave here with Duke, Snake Eyes, Cobra Commander, and the Bat. I understand them wanting to put an army builder in with the first wave. I'm just surprised it was the Bat. If they didn't want to go with a standard Cobra Trooper because of the classified line, they could have rolled out the Viper since he was so hard to get with it being a Cobra Island exclusive, or, something I would have rather seen, a Crimson Guard. If you're not familiar with Super 7's Ultimates, they are typically modeled after the television or movie representation of a property, so in this case, they are all based around the character's animated appearance in the Sunbow cartoon and come packed with accessories. Tons of accessories. However, the sculpt, as you can see, is going to be much softer than something like the classified line. Very much more animated, very much more cartoon. You can just see that by taking a look at it. They also have more limited articulation, that they have single jointed elbows and knees. I know a lot of people don't, or some people don't worry about that, but it's just worth noting that there is a little bit more of a limitation on the articulation. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, they do have an ab crunch, I think. Some of them do anyway. And as far as the accessories packed in, Snake Eyes has timber, as well as a jetpack and a canister that are all callbacks to his appearance in the first mini-series, The Mass Device. Cobra Commander is just decked out with so much stuff. Different heads with different helmet paints, hands, weapons, a scepter, and even his cape for when he's feeling regal. Duke is interesting, though. While he's quite obviously based on the cartoon appearance of the character, he comes with a lot of accessories that harken to his vintage figure, like his backpack, his helmet, his binoculars, and even a second rifle modeled after his 3 3/4-inch figure incarnation. Each figure is $55, and pre-orders on Super 7's website are open until August 15th. You can also pre-order these on Big Bad Toy Store. There will be links to all of this, everything I'm talking about, down in the description below. And that's what we have. The Reaction and Ultimates figures aren't going to be for everyone, and that's okay. I'm not going to dive into the Reaction line, and to be honest, I don't know if I'm going to order the Ultimates line, but if I do, I'm more than likely just going to order the entire wave at once as like one big package deal, because it's either going to be all or nothing for me. It's become so much easier to get our hands on classified figures that now the only one I don't have coming, like I said, is Beachhead. He's the last one I have to get. So hopefully I'm going to RetroCon coming up in this fall. Hopefully by the time I get to RetroCon, the secondary prices on these classified figures will have come down, and I'll be able to pick up a Beachhead for a fairly decent price. And I'm curious to see just when the Snake Eyes Origins figures are actually going to hit shelves. Like I said, they're not going to stand up to the classified line. If you saw my review on those, they're not going to stand up to the classified figures. But they're solid, and they have a charm to them all on their own. So this might lead to Mac getting 3 different lines of G.I. Joe, between the Origins figures, classified, and Ultimates. And just keep in mind, Ultimates is not trying to compete with classified. One isn't trying to outdo the other. They're 2 very different types of figure for different collectors. I'm sure more G.I. Joe info will be popping up soon, but for now, this is what we have, and now you know, and knowing is half the battle.